We want to talk to you about the hate crimes that are happening against Asians. And I'm sure you're familiar with the John V. Kundala case that had happened. Can you tell us what that brought up for you in terms of feelings and emotions?
For us, we're going through a time in this world where everything's moving really fast and everything's very intense, and just seeing the lack of value that we have for life is just so painful and heart wrenching. And yes, she's a South Asian Indian sister, and of course, she's a human being. And those are the thoughts that come up to me because unfortunately, there's just so much police brutality, brutality in general, cruelty, and the lack of awareness for life. And so, for me personally, it was just really another reminder of how far we still need to go in bringing our communities together and spreading that awareness of nothing is more important than human life. Nothing is more important than valuing each other. And for me, that's the space that I turn to when I see that. But we're all praying for John V and her family, her mother, and it's been really hard to fathom that.
I'm from Detroit. I think the famous case was the beating of Vincent Chin, which really sort of galvanized Asian Americans to become more of a political voice.
I'm an immigrant to this country and it's been like almost 11 years now. And I do stand up for any hate towards anybody because I believe everybody is equal. It doesn't matter what skin color you have. I'm a brown guy, so it doesn't, nobody has a right to kind of, say something about that because God made everybody equal. I was upset when I saw that, and nobody should ever make fun of anybody, and that police officer was wrong in whatever he did.
Have you experienced hate, discrimination in the places and spaces that you've been in?
I don't feel that I have to the extent that maybe other Asian communities experience because of COVID or more East Asian. I definitely feel that at the very least, Indian Americans of a certain class have a very different experience than Black Americans and Indigenous Americans. While I do think that there are biases and prejudices, there aren't the sort of systemic problems that I think that Black and Indigenous communities face. And I do think that as Indians, we do need to be sort of cognizant of that. We're not experiencing the same history in America. And if we come from, parents that are of the professional class, like doctors and engineers, that our experience is very different from Indian immigrant to a small business owner of, of a 7-Eleven.
Growing up in high school, I felt that discrimination, and many times I had to stand up for my rights. Now that I'm older, it's different, and people respect me because maybe, I've worked in a different way and, have gotten this far in life. But when I was younger, I remember being discriminated against many times, even in 7th grade or high school, and it was very tough.
What are some actions that, when you see something injustice occurring like that, what are some things that you do?
First of all is you don't want to end up, hating that person. So you should be polite in kind of explaining them where you stand for. Because if you're going to become the same person, then, it's not going to help either nor you nor me. So if it was me, I'd explain them properly. And I would say, I'm from India. So, I would say, okay, do you speak my language? You don't. So how do you expect me to speak your language? Do you look like me? You don't. So how do you expect me to be like you? So I would try to educate and then keep it calm. And I believe people have that sense of, because I believe people don't think far ahead. They only think about that small thing. So I would, probably do that.
But I would actually stand up for my rights because, we're all I was born and raised here, and I'm American born Indian, but I still have my Indian values and culture. So I feel like, we have the same rights as everybody else, and nobody should stand up over that. And, we should be able to express ourselves in a polite way.
Being a little bit more active politically, having that voice, running for office, but just getting kind of engaged, and also being, allies to other communities that have been in the country longer and been experiencing racism longer.